Hey guys, welcome back to Furniture Flipping Teacher. If you're new here, my name is Lauren and I flip furniture on YouTube so that you guys can kind of learn and follow along so that maybe you guys can learn how to flip furniture to earn an extra profit that you can put towards student loan debt, credit card debt, saving up for a down payment on a house, or whatever you guys are trying to earn a little bit of extra money for. Today, I am going to be going over all 20 flips from May. May was a full month of flipping for both me and Neiman, but we're gonna jump right into it with our flips from the month of May. After these 20 flips, this will put us at 83 flips for the entire year of 2021 so far. Remember that my goal that I set for myself in the beginning of 2021 was 125 pieces. So we are well on our way to surpass that goal greatly, especially now that I am going to be doing this full time. Not only is it summer, but if you missed the video of me telling you guys that I'm moving on to a next chapter and I decided to resign as a teacher and I will be taking on furniture flipping and teaching you guys here on YouTube full time, which I'm so excited about, and I'm so excited for your guys' support. So let's jump right in. For furniture flip number 1 and 2 of the month of May, I got back to these velvet chairs. I finally found a couple that were worth flipping. I found the tan one for $5 at a garage sale, and my mom found the green one for $25 at Goodwill. I was really excited because these ones both had the mid-century legs, which I truly enjoy just a little bit more than I do the swivel rockers. I flipped these chairs in under 1 hour. Both of them together in under 1 hour. You guys, these chairs are so easy and quick to flip. I started by removing the skirts, and then the green one was a little bit stubborn and left a lot of staples, so I went ahead and removed those with my needle nose pliers. Once the green skirt was removed, I moved on to the tan chair, and that one came off very smoothly, only leaving behind a couple of staples. Then I took my Bissell vacuum and upholstery cleaner and got all the dirt and dust removed from the velvet surfaces. There were some scratches on the legs down beneath, so after trying and failing with the furniture repair marker, I ended up taping off the legs and using Dixie Belle's Voodoo Gel Stain in the color Walnut to darken up the legs and make them match all over. After that, I put these on Facebook Marketplace for $200 each, and I ended up selling the green one for $165 and the tan one for $185. So after spending just $30 on both of the chairs, I came away with a total profit for 2 chairs of $320. For furniture flip number 3 of the month of May, I flipped this entertainment center. I got this entertainment center from my neighbor across the street, and they had been trying to get rid of it for a while, so they just wanted it out of their garage and ended up giving it to me. It was awesome because I really had been wanting to flip an entertainment center, and I had several ideas in mind. I got right to work and cleaned the piece. You always want to make sure you clean your furniture before you begin any other steps. So after the piece got clean, I took my Surf Prep sander and sanded down the entire piece. I was smoothing out any scratches or imperfections on the piece while also roughing up the surface so that the paint would have something to grab onto. This was my second time using the amazing new paint line from Melange Paints that's based down in Sugar Land, Texas. You guys, I can't say enough about this paint. I just absolutely love their paints. You can actually use my code FLIP10 for 10% off of your entire purchase. You will not be let down. Melange is actually releasing 4 new colors each week of the month of June, so be sure to be on the lookout for those 4 new colors. Their names are based on 90s bands, and the colors are amazing, you guys. I can't wait to show you guys one of them on June 21st, so get subscribed down below to find that color out. Let's get back to the entertainment center. I ended up using the color Jet Black along with one of Melange's brushes that I am also so in love with. I ended up just doing 2 coats of the Jet Black across the whole entire entertainment center, and I also painted the doors before I went ahead and attached the burlap to the door fronts. I lucked out and was able to use the existing rubber inserts to secure the burlap with the glass. I ended up reattaching the doors and doing the final touches on the top coat with furniture butter. Then I attached the gold hardware T-bars that I got off Amazon, and this entertainment was looking brand new. We ended up listing this piece for $275 on Facebook Marketplace, and we ended up waiting only a couple of days for a full price offer plus $25 delivery, giving us a total of $300. And after spending about $30 in materials and the piece being free, I came away with $270 profit. For furniture flip number 4 of the month of May, I had my work cut out for me. I took on a commission flip to flip a kitchen table, 6 chairs, and a bench. I got straight to work and cleaned it with my super clean, and then I spent 3 hours sanding and scuff sanding the entire surfaces of all the pieces. In this video, I showed you guys how beneficial it is to have a surf prep sander versus just any old ordinary orbital sander. Oh, that's a tongue twister. Anyway, you can use my code FFT10 to get 10% off over on the Surf Preps website. Once all of the sanding was done, my mom helped me cover the seats of the chairs and the top of the table to avoid getting any paint on them. Since I was going to be painting the backs and the legs white, I went ahead and did 1 coat of the Bin Shellac Base Zinsser Primer in order to prevent any bleed through of those wood tones. After I was finished with the primer, I did a light sanding to smooth out the surface, and then I used Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white color to cover all of the surfaces white. I ended up needing a total of 3 coats of white paint, and then I went ahead and distressed lightly on the corners and applied a top coat to all of the white surfaces. Again, this was going to be getting a lot of traffic, so I made sure to get the top coat all over and even doubled up on some areas. Then it was time to go ahead and do the stain. So I used a preconditioner before I put on the stain, and it's just kind of an extra step to make sure that all of this stain was going to be even when I put it on, and then it dried instead of having it be all blotchy. I used the color Provincial when staining the top of the table and each seat, and then I used Minwax's Wipe On Poly a total of 3 times for utmost protection, and I absolutely love that Wipe On Poly. It really saves time in the long run. All in all, this flip took me 18 hours to complete. It was a lot more work than I had originally thought that it was going to be. So I ended up charging her $450, and after spending about $50 in materials, I came away with a total profit of $400. And let me just tell you, it's gonna be a long time before I do another kitchen table set. You live and learn. For furniture flips number 5 and 6 of the month of May, I flipped these 2 nightstands that I found on Facebook Marketplace for $10. I took you guys on a trip to Lowe's and picked out all new materials, and I ended up cleaning the 2 nightstands, doing a scuff sand with a hand sander, and then priming with Kills Shellac Base Primer. If you're interested in this flip, it is a back to basics beginner friendly flip, so I highly encourage you guys to go check out the link down in the description so that you guys can see how to start flipping on your own for profit. After the primer was dry, I used Valspar cabinet and furniture paint in a medium gray color that I found in the mishap bin to cover the surfaces of the nightstands. I am used to using the chalk paint or a mineral-based paint, so this type of paint was a little bit different for me, and it took a little bit of getting used to, but all in all, the results were really good. It didn't even need a top coat because that was already built in. I ended up switching out the hardware to the knobs that I have gotten off the entertainment center, so they were free, and I didn't have to spend any extra money on those. I spent about $15 in total materials used with that nightstand flip. Altogether, I spent $15 on all of the materials that I actually used for this flip, and after getting a few bites here and there, but nothing serious with the nightstands. I ended up pairing that with another dresser that I did, which you'll see here in just a little bit. And someone wanted a tall dresser and these two nightstands. I had these nightstands listed at $125, and after spending $10 on the nightstands and $15 on the materials, I came away with a profit of $100. For furniture flip number 7 of the month of May, I gifted this changing table for my brother and sister-in-law who are having twins toward the end of summer. This project was super close to my heart, and although there was no profit, I had so much fun revamping this changing table to fit in their nursery. The first thing I did was give it a nice clean and take the hardware all off, and then I sanded everything all over with a scuff sand. I removed the drawers and the doors, and then I put a little bit of quick wood in the holes since I was going to be replacing all of that hardware as well. Once that quick wood was dry, I went ahead and sanded everything smooth, and then I applied 2 different colors of primer on the changing table. On the base, I used a gray, and on the drawers, I used a white because I knew that those were the respective colors that I was going to be painting those parts of the changing table. After I primed and lightly sanded everything smooth, I painted the base Stormy Seas from Dixie Belle's Chalk Mineral Paint line, and I love this color. It's kind of like a blue, green, gray color all in one, depending on the lighting that you're in. It's beautiful. And then for the drawers and the door, I painted those Cotton by Dixie Belle as well. And this is their bright white chalk mineral paint. It is amazing. All of these links can be found down in the description. Once that Stormy Seas and Cotton paint was dry, I took my Dixie Belle fan brush and went ahead and applied the satin clear coat for a protective layer on the top. And I even used the glossy finish gator hide, which is their most protective top coat, on the top, since I knew that was going to be getting tons of traffic as it's a changing table. And then came the fun part where I got to show you guys how to use the Cricut Joy to upscale and make your furniture even more unique. This was so much fun for me because I got to showcase the names of my future nephews. I had a blast using the Cricut to personalize this changing table for my brother and sister-in-law, and I truly hope that it did give you guys some ideas. So Finn and Anders, I hope you enjoy your changing table when you're old enough to understand how awesome it really was for me to be able to help your mom and dad display the names on your changing table. Then I used my punch locator to drill new holes for the hardware, attached the names on that bottom drawer, and then put everything back together and loved the final results. I cannot wait to see this in their nursery. For furniture flip number 8 of the month of May, I flipped this small entryway table. It was in pretty nice condition, however, there were lots of dings and scratches, so it definitely needed a new coat of paint. I ended up cleaning all of the entryway table, and of course I did a scuff sand to smooth out those scratches and imperfections, and also to roughen up the quite glossy surface of the entryway table. This was a commission piece, so I actually ended up making a custom color for my client, and this beautiful blue was made from Dixie Belle's Silk Mineral Paint in the colors Cape Current and Anchor. I did 2 coats for complete coverage, and I didn't even use half of the container of silk paint. And then with the silk paint, it is all in one, so there's no priming or top coat needed. That silk paint really helped me save on time with this flip. It really took me under 2 hours to do this quick DIY entryway upscale upgrade. So that was a super awesome flip, and the jars of silk paint are about $25, and since I didn't even use half of it, we're gonna call it $10 in materials, and then I sold it for $175, giving me a total profit of $165. For furniture flips number 9, 10, and 11, I got to flip these IKEA dressers. Well, I actually didn't know that they were IKEA until you guys told me after I released the video. But I bought them off Facebook Marketplace several months ago for $70, and they were just in need of a little bit of love. I cleaned them and removed all of the drawers, and since there was no hardware, I got to skip that step. After cleaning, I did a quick scuff sand with my Surf Prep sander just to kind of smooth out those scratches and roughen up the surface so that the primer could grab onto that better. I used a gray bin shellac-based primer that I had them tint at the hardware store because red shows up way better on the gray than it does with the white. Since there was no hardware on these pieces, I ended up using my punch locator again, which is linked down in the description, to drill new holes so that I could later attach the hardware. I decided to drill the holes before I painted so that way I could avoid any scratching of the paint. Then I used this beautiful Mesa Red from Melange. And this was my third color that I had used from Melange paints, and each time I use their paints in a new color, I fall more and more in love with the way that the paint goes on. While that first coat of Mesa Red was drying, I went ahead and spray painted all of the hardware with a nice metallic gold so that all of it would match. I went back and did another coat of Mesa Red, and I also did a top coat on the hardware as well as the surfaces of the dressers. Lately, I've been using this method where I add a little bit of color of the paint to the top coat so that we can avoid that streaking. It works wonders. So if you're having trouble with streaks, add a little bit of that darker paint to the top coat and that will help you eliminate those. Then I attached the new hardware on these pieces and they were finished. It was a unique and bold color choice that I had never done before, and I was a little bit nervous posting this on Facebook Marketplace, but I ended up posting it for $375 and only waiting 5 days for a full price offer of $375. So between spending $70 on the set originally and about $40 in paint and hardware, I came away with a total profit of $265. For furniture flips number 12, 13, 14, and 15, I ended up finding this beautiful French provincial set on Facebook Marketplace for $175. But just kidding, I asked if they would go a little bit lower, so I ended up actually getting it for $100 for all 4 pieces. This is a Thomasville French provincial dresser set, bedroom set, and I got it for $100. I was so excited about that. This was actually going to be a commission piece, and if you watch the video on Monday, you'll know that I made a mistake, but it was an easy fix. I got really lucky and I was so happy. My client wanted the tall chest and the 2 nightstands to be painted the color Midnight Sky from Dixie Belle. So I cleaned all of the pieces, scuff sanded, and then applied 2 coats of Midnight Sky to those 3 pieces of furniture. In between different coats of paint, I also put some white Boss on the longer dresser as I was going to paint that one Buttercream by Dixie Belle. Boss is like a primer and it just protects and makes sure that I am going to avoid any of that bleed through that may come through the color. I gave 2 coats of Buttercream on the long dresser, and then I was ready to top coat everything. Again, I put a small dose of that Midnight Sky into the top coat so that I could avoid the streaks on the dark paint color. I didn't have to do that on the Buttercream because it's a lighter color, so you're less likely to see those streaks anyway. I spent a total of 3 hours cleaning up all of the hardware on these beautiful French provincial pieces, and then I reattached the hardware and it just popped against these colors. I sold the commission chest and nightstand for $700 and delivered it for another $50. So after getting these 3 pieces for $75 altogether, spending about $15 in materials, I came away with a total profit of $660. Profit. $660. That is my highest profit to date. So that was super exciting for me. And then for the Buttercream dresser, I ended up listing that one on Facebook Marketplace separately, and I got a full price offer of $450. They came a few days later and then ended up taking it home for $450. So after spending $25 on that dresser and about $10 in materials, I came away with a total profit on that guy of $415, giving me a grand total of $1,000 $1,075 profit on that $100 French provincial set. Whew, that is almost half of the profit of this month. But keep on watching. The next 4 furniture flips are either already on Dixie Belle's channel or will be in the next couple of weeks. And I would love for you guys to go get subscribed over there. If you are wanting another dose of FFT, there are FFT Fridays going on Dixie Belle's channel. It's the same style video that we put out here on Mondays and Thursdays, and we would love for you to join and be a part of that community over there on Dixie Belle's channel as well. Let's keep going. For furniture flip number 16, I picked up this small solid wood dresser from a garage sale at $20. I removed the hardware and gave it a clean with some Dixie Belle's White Lightning, and before sanding it down, I filled any gouges or cracks with Dixie mud in the color white. This acts as a wood filler, so once that dried, I took my Surf Prep sander and sanded down all of the Dixie mud, as well as gave a scuff sand to the rest of the surfaces. Then I took Dixie Belle's Boss in the color gray and I primed the entire dresser to prevent any bleed through from happening, since I was going to be using a lighter color paint. I used my Mister spray bottle and thinned out the chalk paint in the color Savannah Mist as I applied it to the dresser. It only needed 2 coats and I barely even used a quarter of the jar of paint. Then I took Dixie Belle's clear coat in flat and I coated the entire dresser in order to give it that layer of protection. I changed the hardware out to these cute little gold knobs and I staged it and I posted it on Facebook Marketplace for sale for $150. And to this day, unfortunately, no one has inquired. Well, I've had a few inquiries, but no one has went ahead with their purchase. So that kind of just tells me that my market isn't really on the lookout for a dresser of that size for that price. It's a really nice solid wood dresser, but I think I'm just gonna have to go ahead and lower the price a little bit so that I can get that dresser moved. For furniture flip number 17 of the month of May, I flipped this cherry wood dresser that I found at a Goodwill for $50. I removed all of the hardware and set them aside because I wanted to try something new and try and save these wood knobs. Keep watching and I'll show you how I did it. I went ahead and cleaned the whole dresser and then scuff sanded it with my Surf Prep sander. Then I went ahead and did a layer of Boss to protect from any color popping through because that cherry would be so red if the stain popped through the white. I also did some Boss on the knobs for the same reason. I did a light sanding to smooth out all the Boss and I applied Dixie Belle's Cotton White to the whole dresser except the top. After that dried, I did another coat of cotton, and then on the top I used Manatee Gray because I wanted to try out that classic smoked glaze look with Dixie Belle products instead of Rust-Oleum. I used the Up in Smoke water-based Voodoo gel stain from Dixie Belle to achieve that smoked glaze look. I absolutely love how that smoked glaze turned out on this dresser with the Dixie Belle products, and it really closely matches my classic smoked glaze look with Rust-Oleum. I was able to achieve that same look on the wooden knobs, so I saved those from going into the landfill as well. I plan on doing another smoked glaze look with Dixie Belle products here on my channel here in the near future. I listed that tall dresser at $225 on Facebook Marketplace, and there really wasn't too many hits, but then remember those 2 nightstands? Well, this is the dresser that I ended up selling those with, so I got a full price offer on the dresser for $225. So after spending about $50 on the dresser and about $10 in materials, I came away with a total profit of $165. For furniture flip number 18 of the month of May, I painted this free dresser that I found on Facebook Marketplace. When I saw this listing, I literally dropped everything, ran to my car, and went to the location so that I could be the first one to get that dresser. I even had to kind of load it by myself, and it was a little bit heavy, but it was so worth it. It was in a little bit of some rough shape, but I ended up just sanding down all the nicks and scratches on the top and filling the veneer with some Dixie mud. I cleaned up the entire dresser using Dixie Belle's White Lightning, and of course I removed the hardware first. Then I sanded down the Dixie mud and I used Dixie Belle's all-in-one silk mineral paint, and the color Harbor to cover the entire dresser. I had been planning on doing this beautiful color with this dresser, knowing it was a stretch. And so after listing it on Facebook Marketplace for $350, I still haven't gotten any hits just yet. I'm confident that someone is going to love this dresser just as much as I do. And I think that it would just look absolutely precious in a nursery for a baby or a changing table / dresser. It took 2 coats of silk paint, so again, I barely used half of the container of my material cost on this dresser was right around $10. I ended up spicing up the drawers just a little bit with Suzanne's Garden scented Big Mama's Butter and cleaned up the hardware using Barkeeper's Friend. Be sure to head over to Instagram and follow us at Furniture Flipping Teacher so that you can see when I sell items like this that I just quite haven't been able to sell yet. If you guys want to stay up to date, I highly recommend you go check us out over on Insta. For furniture flip number 19 of the month of May, I flipped this blonde mid-century chest of drawers. It was in pretty decent condition, so I had minimal work to fix up before I got to painting. I removed all of the hardware and wiped down the dresser using Dixie Belle's White Lightning. Then I filled any nicks or gashes with the Dixie Mud and any spots where the veneer was missing. Then I used my Surf Prep sander to go ahead and smooth out and roughen up the surfaces of the drawers and the dresser. I had to go back and add a little bit more Dixie Mud, and then once that was dry, I was able to sand that down again. I had to make a little attachment wooden piece on that bottom since it was missing, so I just drilled those in to the sides and then I covered the holes with the Dixie Mud. Then I used the color Nautical in Dixie Belle's all-in-one silk mineral paint line, and this paint, you guys, I know I say it a lot, but it is amazing. It is all-in-one. It has that primer and the top coat, so you can skip those steps when using it. You still need to do the prep steps, but the primer and the top coat are a no-go. It took 2 coats for full coverage of the entire dresser and all 4 drawers. And then I was going to keep the original hardware, the color that it was, and I cleaned it up with Barkeeper's Friend, but there were a few pieces that just weren't cleaning up right and they had faded too much. So I just ended up using some gold spray paint and bringing those back to life. I reattached the original hardware and boom, it was finished. I listed this on Facebook Marketplace for $225 and I had a little bit of interest, but one person wanted to offer me $200, and so I just went ahead and took it. I got that dresser for $45, spent about $10 in materials, giving me a total profit of $145. And last but not least, for furniture flip number 20 of the month of May, this was not a video on any channel, but I found this mid-century desk at a garage sale and it was solid wood for $10. And I had a customer who had bought the green chair ask me when she was here for the green chair if I had a wooden mid-century modern desk, and I said, actually I do. If you would be interested, I'll get you pictures. So I sent her over some pictures and we kind of went back and forth on whether or not we should paint it, paint all of it, paint some of it, restain it. Then all in all, she just decided to take it as is, so I sold it to her for $175, giving me that total profit of $165. So you see, flipping doesn't always have to involve paint. If you can find furniture that's in good condition that someone else may want for a higher price than you could get it for, that's still a form of furniture flipping. So maybe if you're not as creative as you'd like to be, or if you just want to kind of start to try things out and dabble in it a little bit, that could be an option for you. Whew, 20, you guys. I know I said it in the beginning, but 20 furniture flips in the last month of school. We had so much going on this past month. I am so excited for summer and for what the future has to hold for us. It is summer, so that is going to mean more time for Neiman and I to give you guys more of the content that you guys love. We had asked you guys back in the Mesa Red Melange paint flip that I did for 50,000 subscribers. We asked you, what do you want to see on our channel? What do you want to see in our videos? And you guys gave us so many great ideas for our content. So be on the lookout for some new things. We are hoping that you guys just continue to enjoy following along on our journey of saving up for a down payment on a house, which reminds me, I've still got to tell you the total profit from this month of May. Drum roll. We interrupt your original scheduled broadcast program for an update. We actually recorded this a couple of days ago, and then in the meantime, we sold a piece, so I had to update that profit. It is actually $3,070 profit in the month of May. Let's keep going. So all of that money is going to go into a fund that Neiman and I are going to start, well, have already started, and we are going to be saving up for that down payment on a house. This is so exciting because this is the first actual full month that we get to put those profits toward our house payment. So we're excited, and I know the house market's crazy, so we've got some time to save up. But with months like these, it shouldn't be too long. Another thing that Neiman and I are very excited about is now that it's summer and we've got a little bit more time on our hands, we are going to start diving in deep and picking out those 5 teachers that we are going to gift that $1,000 that we are donating to teachers to help them with student loan debt or classroom expenses. We're excited, so be sure that you stay tuned. Get subscribed if you're not below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this just showed you how easy it is to be a furniture flipper, even if you're doing it part-time. I did this whole month of May while still teaching in my classroom. So it is doable, it is possible. You guys just get out there, find that furniture to flip, and remember to head over to our Back to Basics beginning furniture flip, because that will show you and break down the whole entire process. And if you're interested, check out our entryway table DIY video, because that is also another way. If you're not really looking for that profit, if you're looking just to kind of upscale your own house and give yourself some ideas, it's small, simple flips like that entryway table that's going to upscale your house super easily with a low cost and not too much work. So head over to that video as well. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Your support does not go unnoticed. Thanks for allowing us to do what we love to do. So we are over 50,000 subscribers, and we truly couldn't do it without you. We are releasing videos on Mondays and Thursdays on our channel, but also on Fridays over on Dixie Belle's channel. So be sure to head over there and check that out, and I'll see you on the flip side.